Hey, everybody, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
And I'm the DON other host, Don.
D-O-N, you're done? Oh, wait, no, that's
No,
Don.
Don.
I'm sure you've heard that joke in your life at some point.
Oh, yeah.
So here we are back on another Sunday night with not a lot to talk about this week. We have got, what do we got on deck? We've got some Transformers news that I know that Don is very excited about. We have James Bond news. They are definitely moving forward with a new James Bond series. And then we have a debate about a recent comic book cover by Tyler Kirkman. Well, not a debate, but something worth talking about, something comic related. But yeah, that's all we got. But I think that's enough to do a show. What do you think?
Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get there. Anything new and exciting with you since Wednesday night?
Really nothing exciting. Although, of course, in our last show, we reviewed the first 3 episodes of Ironheart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been interesting to kind of see how the rest of the world is taking that in and reviewing it. And what's kind of interesting is, last I looked, and it's been a couple days, it was actually around like 70%, on Rotten Tomatoes on both the, fans and critic score. And what was interesting is it was originally much worse than that because it did get review bombed. In fact, Rotten Tomatoes, they can verify when you've seen a movie. You're right, and you're not allowed, and you can't vote or whatever, rate it until you've proved that you've seen the movie. They can't do that with TV shows. And so what they noticed was before it was even released on Disney Plus, before anyone could have possibly seen it, it was already getting review bombed by people that obviously hadn't seen it. So they actually erased all of that and didn't open it up again until like 45 minutes after it had premiered. And that's the reason it even has as good of a score as it does, because it did have a hate campaign going against it.
It is now sitting at your typical, unfortunate, typical Disney project that the fans don't agree with. It's got an 87% tomato meter reading from the critics with 73 reviews and a 57 from the audience with 2,500 plus ratings. Yeah. So
some of those came back and review bombed it a little bit.
Yes. And here's the thing. I don't want to be one of those guys, but Disney's one of the most powerful companies on the planet, and they own a lot. Like, people don't realize how much of the media landscape Disney owns. So if they own, we all know they own ABC, and I know they own a bunch of radio stations and newspapers and whatnot. So if they just tell everyone that works for them, that does reviews, give this a good review or you'll losing your job, they can get it up to 87%, because they don't, we didn't score it or anything. And I don't know how a podcast becomes an official reviewer on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know if there are any podcasts that are official reviewers, but I think when you look at the audience, the social media, and you look at honest people who've watched it, they're like, this is terrible. So
I didn't say it was terrible, so I don't agree with that. But I will say, as far as you saying the other, Disney employees saying, hey, you got to rate this or else you're going to lose your jobs. Meanwhile, they're paying Robert Downey Jr., $1 million to promote, this show, so we can give it the RDJ shine to it. But again, it's not. I'm not one of those that's terrible. It's not the greatest effort, but it's only it's a free TV show the way I see it, and it's going to be done here in a couple days. So
you know what? That yeah. That's true too, right? It's if you've got Disney Plus, you're not paying anything extra for it. Um, oh, what does Kasan say? You can pay a small yearly fee to review on Rotten Tomatoes. Well, maybe we will start doing that, and as we review things, we'll get our score put in the mix.
Sure.
You know, so we got 2 movies coming up. We got Superman and Fantastic Four. So, who the hell goes to Grace Rudolph for to review? I don't know. Hello, Christopher. So yeah, it's been all over social media. It's a TV show, blah blah. It doesn't feel like it's going to impact the rest of the MCU, but it's got some really bad writing in it. Like, we got to be honest, like, the more I think about it, that setup is just terrible. Well, besides that, what? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's about it, Dave. That's really the only thing new is just watching that. Playing some Magic, trying to organize all the Magic cards now, which is a big problem. But outside of that, the next holiday approaches. So, what about you? How is your time off in between shows? Anything exciting happened to you this week? The end of this week?
No, actually, I've still been pretty busy with work. I got a lot going on. It wasn't exciting. We celebrated our birthdays because I told you both my brothers are the 26th. So we celebrated all our birthdays on Saturday. Just got a sandwich tray, and like, it's so weird. My brother's wife went to France while he, during the week of his birthday, like, with her sister and her niece, and like, just was just like, yeah, I'm going. My understanding, she didn't invite him or anything. She just planned this trip and left. So that was that's a little weird. So it was just him, my other brother, my mom and my sister and her boyfriend, and because
you said that like, and her boyfriend. You said that like you have a problem. First of all, you said your mother's sister's boyfriend. So your aunt's boyfriend?
Oh, no.
Or is it your mother's
my
boyfriend?
sister, my mother and my sister's boyfriend. Sorry.
Oh, your sister's boyfriend. Okay, that's why it got and her boyfriend. Okay.
They've been together a long time. Just she's divorced and doesn't want to get married, but she's been with him for years, longer than she was ever married.
Oh, okay.
To her husband.
She doesn't want to jinx it. That's the thing. But I guess that's better than like, they've been, fiancés for like 15 years.
Yeah. Does he have a particular set of skills? No. Anyway. But yeah, so we but it wasn't anything. That's what I was just thinking about. It wasn't anything exciting. We just kind of had sandwiches and sat around and exchanged gifts. And at our age, it's like, what are you gonna do? So yeah, that's really about it. And getting ready for this show tonight, and trying to find things to talk about, and failing miserably. But I think we'll be all right. So
yeah, we'll be good.
We'll be good.
I mean, we're going to talk about Micheal Bay Transformers. So that's something to get excited about.
You know what?
I wish John and JD were here. That way, it could be more of a bloodletting. But we'll see how it goes.
You know what? Since you went to the dark side, let's have our good friend Darth Don tell you where you can find more superhero speak.
Darth Don here. You must subscribe to Superhero Speak if you haven't already. And if you have already, make another account and subscribe again. also like this video. While you're on the HoloNet, go to superheroespeak.com. Find the links to our merch and purchase one of our shirts. Don't skimp on the shipping, or else I will trap you in a box with an agitated gundog named Brie Larson. I would just force lightning you, but we don't have that in the effects budget. Now, back to the show.
All right. Well, this first article you did bring to my attention.
Did.
You're the only one excited about it. Apparently, Micheal Bay is developing a new Transformers movie. And you're the only one on the planet, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. What first details were revealed? What did it say? He's going to be a hands-on producer and potential director. He has enlisted scribe Jordan Vandini to write the project screenplay. Further details about the plot and characters are still under wraps. So yeah, like that's it. We just know he's making the movie and he's got someone writing it. We don't know anything about this. Is he going to continue on with from what was it, Beast Wars, or is he going to start something brand new? I don't know. What do you think? Are you what? You're the Transformers fan here. I mean, I'm a Transformers fan from when I was a kid. Those movies soured it for me a little bit. What is and I know it's stupid because the movies, like almost all of them, made over $1 billion. Like it's one of the most successful franchises of all time. Maybe the most, believe it or not. Maybe or second after Star Wars. So you know, and then we got Transformers 1, which was a cute kind of like, oh, here's how the origin of Optimus and Megatron. I don't know. I don't know. Will that be part of this, or is that going to be like a separate timeline kind of thing? I don't know. What do you see? What would you want to see out of a Transformers movie?
I mean, that's a great question because, you know, like you're alluding to and you're saying like I'm the only one excited, which I'm not, at least not in this household. You know, me and my family, we love the Micheal Bay. We love all the Transformers movies. But yeah, certainly the Micheal Bay ones included. And I think overall, the critics and people like us with the podcast and the microphones, I think everybody pretty much agrees that the first Transformers movie was great, and they liked that one. And then they went on to the second one, and where they have the mud flap and skids, the ghetto robots, and people's opinion of Micheal Bay and his use of Megan Fox and the over explosions, you know, started to become more and more suspect. But I mean, just like Kassan here comments, he says, giant robots fighting, explosions, and epic battle lines spoken mid-battle, sign me up. I mean, absolutely. When you talk about a Transformers fan, you know, when I was a little kid, you know, there's pretty much the big three. Star Wars, Voltron, and Transformers to me. Of course, Voltron was a little bit more elusive, not as big as a franchise. Of course, Star Wars, that's history. We all know that. Transformers still stuck around. It had the 1986 movie, and they continued on with Beast Wars. So it stuck around in the lexicon of things and eventually came out with this movie that Steven Spielberg had a hand in with the original Transformers movie. Kassan says no Thundercats. Nope, absolutely. Thundercats would definitely been the fourth, I guess, leg of the stool. But again,
Yeah.
wasn't a franchise that stuck around in the lexicons of things as much as Transformers did. And the toys weren't nearly as fun, although I did have them all. Thunder Tank was fucking sweet. But so anywho, so I never really understood why people, and that includes you, JD, John. I mean, you guys, the Micheal Bay Transformer movies are the butt of many jokes on the part of the old guard of the superhero speak gang here. So I'm not quite sure what people expected that series to evolve into. Yeah, I mean, if I am going to complain about anything, it would be the designs of the Autobots and Decepticons. But then so hopefully Micheal Bay has learned from, I don't want to say the success, but at least the praise of the Bumblebee movie, where they all looked like their G1 counterparts. Hopefully he's learned that he should do more like that and that it'll work. And then pretty much because I'm not gonna cry, or I didn't cry and won't cry, because he's not following the original like comic book story or what have you. Like the major Transformer diehards, might hold his feet to the fire for. I just want a fun, entertaining movie with big fucking robots fighting each other, and I'm very nostalgic for Transformers. Optimus Prime is like my hero, my fictional hero. He's like I modeled myself after. And his voice,
you have said that, yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good. Just so people don't think I'm pulling on my butt. And his voice, right? Peter Cullen, like his voice being in those movies, that's the day that I will probably maybe come down to earth as far as my critique of Transformers movies, when he no longer sounds exactly like the Optimus Prime that I remember when I was 2-3 years old. So
right,
me and my son bond over it. We don't bond over much, me and my son. I mean, I love him, he loves me, but we're very different in a lot of ways. But he likes Transformers, the Micheal Bay shit. I like him. I'm excited. I did think the franchise had to cool off a little bit. I do hope he learns, as far as visually, what pleases us more. And I don't see where you can go wrong. And I know they've touched upon Unicron in the movies a little bit, but I'm really getting the feeling like we're gonna get full blown fucking Unicron, and that's gonna be cool. So yeah, right. I am excited. Screw all you haters. I love Micheal Bay Transformers. In fact, one thing he's not given credit for is like he always, Optimus Prime again, as we just established, is my favorite. And he always gives Optimus Prime like a murder Decepticon spree in each movie. And it's badass. I love it. And I can't wait to see another one.
Right. I mean, Kassan makes an excellent point here. People forget that the biggest driver of a successful movie franchise is to cater to the current child and not the child in adults. Transformers do that well. It's a movie I could take my kids to safely. I do have a counterpoint for Kassan in a second. And then Thronkill says Robot Jack's in an old movie, but a cult status due to the commitment to the large robots portrayed in the movies, considering the effects of the time. Yeah. So this is for both you and Kassan. This is the moment I kind of think mentally I was out.
I'm directly under the enemy scrotum.
Yes, you gave Devastator balls.
I thought that was funny. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not getting serious about robots in disguise, but okay, I get it. He gave them Devastator testicles. Okay.
I don't know.
No, okay.
And I kind of felt like that's the aspect I kind of felt was missing from the Michael Bay movies that kind of, I know it seems silly, but like when Devastator showed up in the cartoon, it was a big deal. Here was these 5 robots that could combine and make a bigger, more powerful robot to fight.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like he was just kind of there in the movie. It was like a background thing, and he had balls, and it was just like, why did you do that? Like, it felt like Michael Bay didn't care. Like, and again, I get what Kassan's saying. You have to cater to the kids of today, but I feel like if you do things like make a big deal about them figuring out Devastator and having a robot that can combine and be on the Decepticons, kids will get more excited and want the toy, and I just feel like he doesn't. I feel like in some ways he craps on that kind of stuff in the movies.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could see that. I would definitely have enjoyed a more classic, green Devastator, just Constructicon design. And so, I mean, I am going to agree with you a little bit on this point. Yes, Devastator should not have, 2 balls dangling. And even if he does, they definitely probably shouldn't specifically mention that they are under directly beneath the enemy scrotum. But again, I don't know. It's funny. But I will at least join with you here, as I do want a more classic design of the robots. So hopefully he has learned that lesson.
Yeah. Thrawn also says the Bay movies still managed to lure actors like
well, I mean, Spielberg was involved. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
God,
actors,
I love that shit, man. I don't know.
Actors need to like make bucks too, and they know if they're going to go into a movie like that, they'll get paid for it, so private school ain't cheap.
Right. Yep.
I kind of, I don't know. Part of me did kind of want the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover that they hinted at in the last movie.
See, I really had no interest in that, but I'm not nostalgic for G.I. Joe.
But the thing was, like, what I couldn't tell is, were they going to reboot G.I. Joe at that point, or were they going to like continue on with the mess that they gave us in those 2 movies?
Yeah.
Because when you kill off your main characters in the beginning of the second movie, it's like, why?
See, I didn't watch the second G.I. Joe movie. I didn't even get that. They killed off Duke?
Uh-huh.
Oh. Well, they did that in the animated G.I. Joe movie. Remember that? With fucking Serpentor got him right through the fucking heart.
No. They were going to kill him off, and then they changed it because they killed Optimus Prime, and children were crying in the movie theater. So the G.I. Joe movie was actually done before the Transformers movie, but they were able to get the Transformers movie to the theaters quicker. And when they realized what a mistake killing Optimus Prime was, there's a voiceover line in the G.I. Joe movie where, and that never went to the theater. It was broken up and put on the TV.
Right.
And there's a voiceover line like, "Oh, he made it,"
Oh, okay. I didn't
but
catch that.
He was in a coma. He wasn't killed. So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's I don't know. And Thrawn says that the Joe Transformers is still happening. Okay. The article says that there's no mention. The article that I saw on this said there's no mention of what happened with that project, but I believe it. I think that would do well.
Now, let me ask you this though, because I know you said nothing's confirmed, but I saw where it's possible that they're bringing back Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox, Mark Wahlberg, the guy that plays the Sector 7 dude. I think he plays Falcone now, and I can't remember his name. Like I don't know, a return of the old guard. I don't know. What do you think about that? Would you like to see that, or you want to see Shia LaBeouf fan?
Wow. Shia LaBeouf did everything in his power to hurt his own career. With a lot of the stunts that he pulled. So I mean, like that's the thing. I think he's a decent actor. I really do. I think he's a good actor. Just personally, I think he's got issues.
They all got issues, man. I'm over that shit.
I mean, you know, it goes to like that something in France and wears a paper bag over his head. It says "not famous anymore," and you know, like
and goes and watches like all his own movies and cries
Megan
at his
Fox
performance.
and her big toe thumbs. Yep. Hey,
Or
you know
whatever.
what?
Hey, I'm not.
You know what? Make her wear mittens. You know, it's Megan Fox.
Toe thumbs.
I just think it's funny, like people try to take a beautiful woman like that and try to find a flaw in them. So, like,
yeah. Well, nowadays she looks kind of a little freaky. But speaking of freaky, you know, we're talking about wardrobes of Hollywood actors. Did you see fucking what that Ezra Miller? See pictures of him recently? Like, okay, if you didn't see it, then the joke will fall flat. But you know, that guy's pretty.
Well, I mean, I know that. I know he's a pretty weird person. Let's see, is he?
So Kassan is saying, while you look that up, put Sydney Sweeney in as a replacement. I don't understand how people think she's like so spectacularly beautiful, because I do not. But B, I think there's going to be a continuation of the story here. So I actually do hope they stick with that continuity and get all those old actors, quote unquote.
So I'm trying to figure out is Ezra trans now? Like,
okay, I think he's always been I think he's always had a feminine side that he likes to show, because I've seen other pictures of him. He's straight up in makeup and stuff, and he's out there. He's an Hollywood actor, and you know, he's 180 degrees from the person I am, but I don't care. Although he's not a great example, because they have him on video choking a lady, and that's not
right.
cool. But you know, outside of hurting people, I don't give a fuck. Just play the part, do a good job. A
bunch of
there you go, you got it.
Like this online where he's
see a little watermelon hair clip, little watermelon hair,
long hair, wearing a dress. Like, okay, if he's now a her, all right, but I would think that would have been all over the news. I hadn't heard.
That's him making sure his picture gets back out there. He probably figures people don't remember him.
And that's what I was about to say. Or is it just a publicity stunt to get his name back out there?
That's all that stuff is.
Yeah. It's a shame.
What if they recast him as the Flash in Guns and what's
I don't think that will ever happen. No, this you know, just because of all the legal troubles he was in, they took so long to release that movie. And that's the thing too, like, was it a great movie? No, but if they had like released it sooner and not held on to it, trying to figure out what to do, it may have saved the DCU, because it, you know, it made money. So did the second Aquaman movie. Like, it's funny how they killed the DCU, but like then the movies after they said it was officially dead made money, you know, with the exception of Blue Beetle. But I think that's because no one knows who Blue Beetle is. So so no one ran out to the theater to see it.
Definitely a B tier.
Yeah. So yeah.
So are you excited for the Micheal Bay Transformers movie? Let us know in the comments.
Yes. Excited is such a strong word. All right. So moving on, movies that are interesting. So it has been confirmed Amazon has tapped Denis Villeneuve. I don't know how to say his name, as the next director for the James Bond franchise moving forward. And they're looking at a 2028 release date. So, you know, 2.5 years from now, 3 years from now. And the front runners currently to play James Bond are, hold on, Tom Holland, Jacob Elordi, who Saltburn, never saw that, and Harris Dickinson from Baby Girl. They apparently are currently the 3 front runners right now to play James Bond. Tom Holland shocked me. Like, he is I know he's much older than he looks, but he still looks like a kid, you know. That's why he can get away with playing Peter Parker a little bit longer. So I can't see him as James Bond because of that. So, and I know you're not a huge James Bond fan, but what do you think? I still say Henry Cavill, but for some reason he's not in the running right now.
Yeah. You know, yeah, I'm with you. I think, like, it seemed like for a while there, and even still now, they're like really pushing Tom Holland. I mean, he's fucking Spider-Man. So, I mean, there's that. But you're absolutely right. He doesn't look like a man. He looks like a little kid. And so, like, I don't know. It's like, you better hurry up and grow up here soon, or else I don't know what the fuck we're going to do with him. Because, yeah, I don't see him as James. And you're right, I don't care about James Bond. But I don't see him as that. You know, I'm thinking Idris Elba, like you said, Henry Cavill, you know, some manly like that. I hate to emphasize that, but he really still just looks like a fucking kid. And you can't get a whole lot of leading roles like that unless you're playing a kid,
right?
A teenager, what have you.
That's right. The director is the guy who gave us Dune 1 and 2. I forgot. I wanted to mention that. And he is currently shooting Dune 3. So thank you for that, Kassan.
Yeah. You like them Dune movies, Dave?
I haven't seen the second one yet.
I watched that on the way to Comic-Con last year.
Oh, okay.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
All right, I'll have to watch it. So I don't know, because here's the thing too. I've said this before, I think, and I stand by this. I feel like the problem is, and I'm not saying Daniel Craig, I'm not trying to take anything away from Daniel Craig, right? But I hear people say this all the time. If they tried to make Bond like a classic Bond movie, so think, you know, Roger Moore and Sean Connery, and Pierce Brosnan's, you know, especially Roger Moore and Pierce Brosnan, they're very tongue-in-cheek takes on the character, you know, with women like Pussy Galore and whatnot, and, you know, the seducing women and the over-the-top masculinity. and everyone will turn around and go, you can't make a movie like that today. Actually, you can make whatever movie you want. And I stand by this, and I will continue to stand by this. If you made a movie closer to that today, $1 billion. Starring someone like Henry Cavill, $1 billion right off the bat. Because and I've, like, you know, not to get too political, but more and more they're saying Gen X and Gen Alpha are way more conservative leaning than the previous generations, more back to a man's a man kind of traditional family value roles and whatnot. And I think, you know, that being said, they're your audience, they're your target audience. They'll go for a movie like this. So
yeah, because nobody younger than me is clamoring for James Bond.
Right.
And I'm at the tail end of Gen X. But, you know, I am like, I'm, when you put me up against someone a little bit younger than me, the difference in masculinity is night and day.
Right.
Only because, you know, I'm Gen X, so I don't believe in things like, you know, sharing emotions or complaining or even acknowledging hurt or pain, you know, like, I'm a put up or shut up, you know, do work, get it done. the younger generations, they like self-expression.
Yeah. Yeah, Kassan is basically saying what I'm saying. The pendulum is swinging back to traditional gender stereotypes. People are sick of social justice messaging it shows in the theaters. It does. So yeah, I do think. I think I'm Tanya, $1 billion, hands down. And you don't even have to go as far as they do, but like, there was all this talk after the last Bond movie, or with the last Bond movie. Oh, they should make James Bond a woman. They should make James Bond a character color, which, you know, I don't mind the talk, but he's a blonde. He's actually, and it's funny because he works for the Secret Service, but I believe he's Irish in the books. He's a blonde Irish guy. Like, he only became tall, dark, and handsome because of
Yeah.
Sean Connery playing him. But
Like movies, yeah.
like it was funny because when people complained Daniel Craig got cast because Daniel Craig's actually blonde. It's like, Bond is actually blonde. Read the books, or do a cross. I've said this before. If you read the books, he's much more cold and calculating in them. Like a lot of inner dialogue stuff of like, he's, he calculates like, should I do this? Shouldn't I do? And he kills when necessary, but like, he doesn't just kill. Like, having a character like that's more cold and calculating, and not crying over his dead wife like the Daniel Craig movies.
You bastard.
I think hey, I sympathize a little bit, but at the same time, like, yeah, let's get back to like a traditional fun James Bond that's a tough guy.
Yeah.
Either
that or give us some Austin Powers. Get some judo chops.
So kids learn different things by experiencing it from their parents. Agreed. And okay, again, trying to stay a little bit away from politics, but of course you can't with a topic like this. Right. And more liberal people who are into all the gender stuff and whatnot aren't having kids. It's more conservative, traditional Christian value people that are having kids, so they're passing it on to their kids. That's why the younger generations are leaning more conservative, because that's who's having children. My daughter is very, was raised by me, so she is way more conservative, and she's got 4 daughters like that are going to lean more conservative as they get older, because that's the way they're being raised. Like, that's how it works. So
yeah, I mean, kids rebel. You're gonna get that. I mean, honestly, I'll peel back the curtain a little bit in my life. You may think I'm a conservative dude, and in some aspects you're probably right. And so my son, like his father, he's into guns and things that would be thought of conservative. But at the same time, one of his best friends is transgender. It's his name is Barbara. He spent the night 2 nights ago. Goes fishing all the time with my son. I live in a pretty conservative area, but I don't have any trans friends. Not that I would be against it, but
right.
There goes my son. Being completely 100% accepting. Again, it's Barbara is one of his best friends. Nice young man, and I'm gendering correctly here because as I may be a conservative, at the end of the day, I have a religion, and that religion says to love everybody. So if someone says, "Hey, if you could just refer to me as this," that'd be great. I say, hey, no problem. And we're done. We're done here. We can coexist and be great. So, kids do rebel. They are a lot like their parents. But you're right. This younger generation, they like to express themselves, and I think that manifests in a number of ways. But I also learned that even a straight young man like my son, like he has had a couple of girlfriends, and we're all like, oh, here's condoms, here you go, blah, 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 and he's just like, what the fuck, Dad? Like, it's not like that. And I'm like, son, don't fucking talk to me. When I was your age, I was humping like bunnies. Like, but I'm telling you, these young kids, man, they ain't got it like that, man. That's a whole emotional relationship thing that is fucking difficult for them. They're just, I don't know. We were fucking like bunnies when we were teenagers, but I don't think these teenagers do that anymore. I don't know.
Sad state of affairs for the human race. Real quick on a note, Kasan says, anyone hearing about the anemic ballerina box office results? I forgot ballerina was even a thing.
That's that John fucking Wick. Yeah, dude, I was done with John Wick. I know, the hot take, blasphemy. I was done with John Wick after the first fucking movie. So to hear that not only, what have they had, 4 or 5 John Wicks now? Now they got spin-offs? That's so fucking stupid.
He says it's fitting to the narrative. You can't just pop a woman into an established male role and expect immediate success, even if it's Anna de Armas. Yeah, I mean, that is one of those things. Like the idea that, I'm sorry, the idea that a woman can do anything a man can do, it's just not true. I know. Send all your hate mail to hate mail to Don at Superhero. I mean, Dave at Superhero Speak. But yeah, because it's just like, that was one of the criticisms I should see about Ironheart, is that these in the Blood Brothers are aliens in the comic. They're these big brooding aliens, and they are the muscle of the team. Now they got these 2 little females. Well, one's trans and one's
they got something going on, whatever it is,
right? Yeah, and now they're the muscle, and it's just not believable. Like, so, yeah, and that is a valid criticism. I'm sorry. Hairwick, John Wick's barber. But yeah, like, well, I mean, the thing is, the spinoff is stupid because you didn't see, there's 4 movies altogether, but in the last one,
fucking 4.
But at the end of the last one, John Wick dies. So it's just like, okay, well then it's done. The idea of doing a spinoff with another character after you've killed the main character, and it's a woman who's mentioned briefly in the movie, it's just like, no one cares, like.
No, I mean, the first, they should have never, and again, I know they make money, I know it's a franchise,
I think
it would have, fans.
I think the movie would have worked better if they based it on Halle Berry's character from the second one, like did a spin-off of her character, because like that was interesting. She had these dogs that were like, had guns on them, and like and were trained to kill, and like this just like weird mysterious character that like came out and helped John Wick. I think she's in the second and third movie. So it's just like, okay, she's been in a couple movies. You don't really know what her backstory is. It's kind of mysterious. Like there's a story for you. But like you mentioned a character in the last movie, now all of a sudden it's like, look, yeah, we've got a whole spinoff that no one cares about. So yes. I was talking about the stagnation of Western media studios don't want to do, but Eastern media is taking off, and they aren't doing the stupid things like the West. Yeah, that's true.
What Eastern media is taking off? Not here in America, right?
Anime?
I mean, what? Okay, anime. Okay,
I guarantee Western, Eastern movies are much more traditional role and everything, Um, what about Better Call Saul, a spinoff that is equal to the original story? All right,
I didn't even get into Breaking Bad, so
I was about to
you're going to
say,
take your word for it.
here's another hot take. I never watched. I've seen a couple episodes of Breaking Bad. I never watched the whole thing. Yeah, okay. So San says Japanese and Korean, and but Mark, I think you missed. We were saying taking a spinoff and plopping a female character that was kind of mentioned in the last movie, making a spinoff, like that doesn't work. I think if you take a character people know, and I think again, I do think it would have worked better if it was Halle Berry's character, but that's just my opinion. But all right, did we beat this to death enough?
I guess so. I would just like to take this chance to say the John Wick movies are stupid, and I wish they would have just stopped after the first one. That way I could be a fan.
Wow.
So,
that is the hottest take, I think.
Yeah. I cannot believe we have 5 movies spawned from a guy taking revenge for his dead dog. I was so down for that shit in the first movie, but oh my god.
Wasn't there also a TV spinoff, The Continental, about the hotel?
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's just they're desperate for a franchise.
All right. So our last bit of news that we're going to talk about is so Jose Villarrubia is a colorist who worked for Marvel, who colored a John Romita Sr. cover, a very famous cover, Spidey kind of standing on like a church spire, the rain's pouring down around him, cloudy sky in the background, it's all dark and whatnot. And recently, Tyler Kirkman had a book come out called The Marvel Art of Tyler Kirkman, and the cover is almost an exact duplicate of that original John Romita Sr. Cover. And here, so I'm gonna put it up, and the one in the middle is by John Romita Jr., which was a tribute cover to his father's original. And then the first one is the original cover. The middle one is the one by his son, and then the one on the end is the Kirkman cover. So this has flooded social media, a huge debate on like, should this be allowed? Where do you draw the line between tribute and just straight out copying? And lots of talks about this. But then I wanted to point something else out. It has come out since then, and Kirkman said that he actually had a different design for the cover when it came out, and Marvel came out and said, no, we want you to do this, and like basically told him to copy the John Romita cover, and they're the ones who approved it for the book. So Marvel told him to do it.
Okay.
But I mean, again, a lot of people are seemingly, and maybe rightfully so, upset about this. So, I mean, it's bad enough AI is going to be stealing art. What? Now we have artists being told by publishers to steal famous covers. I don't know. Do you have a take on this? What do you think?
I do. Could you bring up the image? Oh, I guess I could do it, but I definitely do have a take on this as I look at these art here. So I'm disregard the one in the middle. Okay, so now you're saying it's the colorist of the original that is complaining about,
right? Well, because John Romita Sr. passed away
right
a few years ago, so yeah.
Okay. So here's what I have to say about this is, you know what? It's like should be a common pose. It's Spider-Man. He's going to be on a rooftop. It's going to rain. I could see the point about, okay, this is copying. But I'm going to be completely honest with you. The newer image is better. And so maybe that's why he's complaining. I mean, honestly, the first image and even the second where the rain is hitting Spider-Man, it looks like he's covered in scrubbing bubbles. Whereas the third one, it actually looks like it's water. So
Okay.
That's my take, is the newer one is better. And it's like people that think if you repeat a joke, oh, it's a hack joke, you're a hack. But it's completely possible that two people think of the same idea. Now,
true.
That's not relevant here because, like you've just informed me, I've been thusly informed. Marvel was like, hey, do this. So if the guy's going to be pissed off, he needs to be pissed off at Marvel. But it's obviously an iconic pose, one that you would expect Spider-Man to be in a lot. I don't know if he would do it while it's raining, but okay, it just adds to the effect. I get it. But I don't know, man. The newer image looks better, and I almost wonder if that guy is just trying to get some publicity for himself, maybe a little jealous. I don't know. I'm not an artist, so please take that into consideration before you flamethrow me in the comments. But I don't really see a big deal. It's debatable on whether or not Marvel should have said that. But you know, maybe he should have changed what the thing that he's standing on is kind of the thing that gives it away for me. Like if that little ball thing was not the same, then I think it would be taken a little bit better.
Right, and well, and even where the sunlight is hitting it is in the same spot and all that. Like it's definitely a copy.
And it's not like the dude's going to lose money over this, right? It's not like people are going to say, "Oh, I'm not going to buy this comic from 1999 because this new comic has that same image." So, like, no, that's not at all what's going to happen. So, I don't know, man. I mean, on top of me saying that the newer one is better, I just generally find it to be a nothing burger. But I'm not an artist, so.
No, So Kasan is asking, is it the newer image for a Vice story that is represented in the first image? No, it's actually the from my understanding, according to the article, the new cover is just for an art book. The first one is from Amazing Spider-Man 26. Oh no,
right,
no,
so who?
No, that is. I'm sorry. That is the new one is for an Amazing Spider-Man 26. So it's not a remake. It's not a retelling of the story. Okay. But it's also going to be on the art book. All right.
How many images of Batman, are out there on top of a gothic building where his cape's swinging in front of him? How many flying Supermans are? I mean, that's just, I don't know, man. When you got a character like Spider-Man, I don't think you own of it as much as you.
No, no one owns it. I don't think anyone owns it. It's more or less of like, this guy's trying to defend John Romita Sr.'s work, saying like you can't just do his copy his thing exactly, because I think you could do a million different things to make it a little more your own. Maybe do smaller eyes, do put one of the arms in a different position. Like it's a complete copy.
Is that your opinion, Dave? I mean, I know I've talked a lot about it, but what are your thoughts? You think it's shady, sus?
I think it's sus. I think maybe there's an element of the story that kind of does reflect the original story that cover was from, and maybe that's why they did it. Like Marvel has their reasoning for it, and so far they haven't come out and commented on it. But Marvel, like, people don't realize. So I want to show you something else here. So here's a cover that a good friend of mine did. This is a Deadpool cover with Stan Lee on it holding a katana, and Deadpool standing behind him saying, "Really, Stan?" That's not the original cover. In the original
is that
cover,
Secret Wars 1? Yeah, no, that's not.
no.
I have that.
No. I'm saying like, oh, well, that's this actually is from Deadpool 1. It was an alternate cover for Deadpool 1, and I'm sure they reused it for other things. Because Marvel does that too. They let artists do special runs for comic book stores. But in the original version of this cover, Stan is holding Deadpool's head and had decapitated him, and there's blood on the sword, and the head is saying, "Really, Stan?" Which is more a Deadpool type cover, is a better joke, and is more fitting. But like, this was done shortly after. It's actually done shortly after Disney bought Marvel Comics and was getting more involved with editorial, and like, so they kept saying, "No, you can't." So he would change a little bit. "No, you can't do that." Oh, he would change it, until it ended up to the cover that you have now. And he said that like it was weird because they barely ever edited his covers in the past. They tried to claim it was Stan Lee's people, and Stan said no, he loved the original cover. So again, going back to the most powerful company in the world, if they don't want something, it ain't gonna happen.
Right.
And if they want something like a copy of a John Romita Sr. cover because they think it's going to sell more books, that's what you're going to get. I honestly feel like the issue for me, in all honesty, is Kirkman should take his name off the cover. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he should, or should say, Kirkman in honor of John Romita Sr. or something like that, or from John Romita Sr. Something like that. Like, have his name on it. Just because it's just his name signed at the bottom of the image, and it's just like, that it's not yours. You've come out and said like Marvel made me do it, so then come out and say, put it on the cover, right? Like to say, hey, a John Romita Sr.'s cover redrawn by me. Like you could write that note on there. What are people going to do? Like, Marvel knows people are going to see. They know the original cover. People who collect comics know John Romita Sr.'s work. He's one of the most famous artists who ever worked on Spider-Man. So it's just like, they're going to know that cover. So just be honest up front. I mean, I want to keep an eye on this because I want to see how Disney/Marvel responds to all of this, if they do it all. Because like I said, there's been a lot of talk online about it over the last couple of days. So I imagine they'll issue a statement about the cover. Maybe they'll pull it and change it. I don't know. But
it'll say, fuck off. That'll be their statement.
Yeah. It's our character. We can do what we want. So we shall see. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Like, was this handled right? Where is the fine line from homage to plagiarism? Is there a line? And
am I right that the
newer
Don, image better?
Is Don right? Is the new one better? No. But
actually really is, but okay. Well,
so yeah, but that's it. That is the news. And wow, we talked for an hour when we didn't have much to talk about. So, because sexism that we are.
Yeah. Make mountains out of molehills when we need to.
Yeah. We had to talk about Devastator's balls. So now we're at that point of the show We've got to ask that all important question.
What did we learn on the show tonight?
What did you learn, Don, or do you have a recommendation, or both?
You know, I learned that me and you have a lot in common, Dave, but one of those things we don't have in common is that when it comes to the testicles of a giant transforming robot, I am amused and you are not.
Yes.
So that's what I learned. What I recommend is Magic the Gathering Arena on Steam for free. I'm playing it, so you know, as I do when I play games, I come on here and I try to get you to play with me. So on the computer, not the other way.
Yeah, play with Don. He needs friends. I learned that you're turned on by giant robot balls, and that's okay. That's okay. There's no judgment here. This is a judgment-free zone.
Good.
Unless you're a filthy liberal. I mean, no. Recommendation. I don't have a recommendation. The girlfriend and I are about halfway through season 3 of Ted Lasso, and we know that they're currently filming season 4. So if you've never watched Ted Lasso, now's your chance to get caught up on all of the episodes before the new one comes out. The new season comes out. But yeah, and then The Old Guard 2 is releasing on July 2nd on Netflix. Oh well, maybe we'll check that out. And yeah,
I don't know, man. Black Sabbath's supposed to be live streaming their last concert. I'm still trying to decide whether I want to pay for that or not. So I might be preoccupied.
So, yeah. Oh, and then, of course, the next time we get together, we'll have probably the final 3 episodes of Ironheart to talk about. So, if you want to, go
Superman's coming.
Go check out Ironheart, and then we'll have Superman shortly after that. So, there you go. Well, on that note, boys and girls, as always, thanks for watching. Don't let your cape go out the door. See you next time.
If you haven't done so yet, subscribe. It really keeps this podcast alive. Smash the like button if you please. It gives us what we need. Maybe leave a comment or 2. It's a really nice thing to do. And what are you waiting for? Visit